All right, the Lions get huge news on the offensive side of the ball going into this huge matchup against the Saints. The Saints, though the record's not that great, they're right in the thick of their division. It's at their place. Huge game. So I know we can talk the last couple of weeks about the defense. You can talk about the defense all the time, but for me, it's the offense. Offense is our best unit. Our offense has to control the game. We have to score points. We have to do what we have to do offensively to really help our defense along. Our defense is good enough if our offense is playing at a high level. But the last 2 weeks, not running the ball well, so then we're throwing it. We can't throw it because we're turning it over. We can't run it because we're turning it over. I mean, it's just been a mess offensively. And for me, it goes back to our offensive line. So the good news is that Jonah Jackson should be able to return because remember, with him out, you got Colby Sorsdal in there, and he's just having a heck of a time. He gets benched at halftime. So you've got our guards are messed up. We can't run the ball. We're having a tough time. So here it is right here. It's been a long 6 weeks for Jackson. After missing 3 games with an ankle injury, he comes back and promptly injures his wrist. He's missed the last 2 games. In missing the last 2 games, we all know the last 2 games not been good. Now back on the practice field. Hopefully he's healthy enough because Swordsall and Owasika have struggled to fill his shoes. And that is just it because Graham Glasgow on the other side, solid, not great, but when he's, so now you've got your guards are just not great. And we saw so much pressure and a lot of problems against the Packers where they allowed 12 quarterback hits, 3 sacks. Goff fumbled 3 times. It was just a mess because we couldn't protect the quarterback. We couldn't protect the quarterback because we had no threat of a run. We couldn't run the ball. So what you're going to see this week against the Saints that the Lions are going to run the absolute football. I just can't wait to see it because that's what we've been wanting to do. That's when we're successful is when the Lions run the ball. So when you're not able to run the ball, really bad things happen. And it's just like, oh my gosh, come on, because the Saints are really good at takeaways. They're in the top 10 in interceptions. This is a good defense at New Orleans. Again, New Orleans is in the hunt for this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Having a healthy offensive line is huge because remember, Vaitai goes out immediately. He's basically been out for the season. And we're not seeing a much of Dan Skipper played guard even for a little bit, but we're back to our core, who we're going to have on our offensive line with Jonah there. Jonah is really good, and we take him for granted, I think, because he is in and out of the lineup. That's easy to forget how important he is. When he's in there, everything settles down because you forget when one offensive lineman's out, then it starts this domino effect. Then, Frank Ragnow has to come out a series for something. Then you got, it's just this constant shuffling. So now you're going to see the Lions really run the ball. And I think that's what's going to happen against the Saints because we want to settle Goff down. That's when we're at our best. And we know Goff's strengths and his weaknesses. We know that he's not mobile at all, cannot create any unscripted plays. That's fine. That's right. I mean, you'd love it if he was Michael Vick. He's not. So he's going to have to find ways to run the ball. Then we can do play action. We've got talent all around the offensive side of the ball. St. Brown, Laporta, Jameson Williams is really finding it. Like he's due for a 7-catch, 110-yard, 2-touchdown game at any moment. Like this is where St. Brown really found his stride kind of halfway through his season. Jameson was out last year. He's in this, this is his first year. He was suspended, we know the whole thing, but he's back and ready to make something happen kind of down this stretch run. CJ Gardner-Johnson in other news said he's coming back. He put a return date out there. I don't know what it means. It was just encouraging to see something from him and that he's eyeing a return. James Houston could return in a couple weeks. There's guys that are coming back. We'll see what it looks like. Bruce Irvin on the defensive side. It's going to be, look, we've got guys coming in. We're going to get more injuries. You don't know what it looks like. But one thing I know is our offense has to make this work. If we're going to make a run down the stretch, win the division, our offense is our best unit. So they got to be really good. In order to do that, we got to run the ball. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. I think the Lions win this game. in New Orleans, and I think it's going to be one of those. This is one of those games we look back on like turning point in the season where it was starting to go down. But that's what good teams, they don't let you don't lose 3, 4, 5 in a row. You bounce back on the road against a manageable game. Again, the Saints are, I don't know what they are. They can't score, which is really weird. Good defense. They've got a good quarterback. It's at New Orleans, but it's a manageable game for the Lions. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.